What would you do if the one person who belittled your dreams was forced to confront the truth in front of everyone? Emma stood at the edge of the old barn, her fingers tracing the weathered wood as the golden hour bathed the rolling fields in a warm glow. This was their wedding venue. To her, it was perfect, rustic, heartfelt, a reflection of the life she and her fiancé, Daniel, had built together. But to her stepsister, Claire, it was a joke. A barn. Claire had scoffed at the family dinner months ago, her manicured nails flicking dismissively. Emma, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Couldn't afford anything better. Her laughter had stung, sharp and deliberate, as their parents exchanged uneasy glances. Emma had bitten her tongue, her heart heavy but resolute. She wouldn't let Claire's venom ruin this. Growing up, Emma had always been the quiet one, the dreamer who found joy in simplicity. Claire, 2 years older, thrived on attention, her life a curated gallery of designer bags and social media boasts. Their blended family had never quite meshed. Claire saw Emma as competition, a threat to her spotlight. When Emma announced her engagement to Daniel, a kind-hearted teacher with a modest income, Claire's mockery reached new heights. A cheap ring for a cheap wedding, she'd sneered, eyeing Emma's delicate band. But Emma didn't care about diamonds or status. She cared about love, about building a life that felt true. The barn wasn't just any venue. Emma had discovered it during a drive through the countryside, its faded red paint and wildflower-dotted fields calling to her. It belonged to a local developer, Mr. Hargrove, who had been hesitant to rent it out. It's not much, he'd warned, but Emma saw it sold the way the rafters held stories, the way the open fields promised freedom. She'd worked tirelessly to secure it, negotiating with Hargrove, who admired her passion. "You've got heart, kid," he'd said, shaking her hand. What Claire didn't know, what no one knew, was the secret Emma held close. Wedding planning became a battlefield. Claire, invited out of family obligation, seized every chance to undermine Emma. At the dress fitting, she'd smirked. "That gown looks thrifted." At the floral shop, she'd rolled her eyes at Emma's choice of wildflowers over roses. "You're really leaning into this budget aesthetic, huh?" Each jab was a calculated cut, meant to make Emma feel small. But Emma pressed on, pouring her heart into every detail: the hand-painted signs, the mason jar centerpieces, the fairy lights that would twinkle like stars. Daniel, ever her anchor, would squeeze her hand and whisper, "It's our day, Em, not hers." The wedding day arrived, crisp and golden, the barn transformed into a vision of warmth. Guests milled about, marveling at the charm: the hay bales draped in soft linens, the wildflowers bursting with color. Emma, radiant in her simple gown, felt her heart swell as she caught Daniel's gaze across the field. But Claire's voice cut through the joy like a knife. "This place is so quaint," she said loudly to a group of cousins, her tone dripping with disdain. "I mean, who gets married in a barn? It's practically falling apart." Emma's cheeks burned, but she held her head high, refusing to let Claire steal this moment. Then came the turning point. As the reception began, Mr. Hargrove, the developer, took the microphone to give a toast. His weathered face broke into a grin as he looked at Emma. "Folks, I've got a story for you," he began. "This barn, it's no ordinary place. Years ago, it was set to be torn down, bulldozed for condos. But someone saw its worth. Someone fought for it." He paused, his eyes locking on Emma. "Emma didn't just rent this place. She saved it. She's the reason it's still standing. And you know what? She owns it now." A gasp rippled through the crowd. Claire's face froze, her wine glass trembling in her hand. Hargrove continued, "Emma came to me with a vision, not just for her wedding, but for this land. She worked with me, put in her own savings, and now this barn and these fields belong to her and Daniel. This isn't just a venue. It's their legacy." The room erupted in applause, but Emma barely heard it. Her eyes found Claire, whose smugness had crumbled into stunned silence. For the first time, Claire had no words, no quips. Emma felt no need to gloat, never needed Claire's approval. This moment wasn't about proving her stepsister wrong. It was about proving herself right. As the night unfolded, guests danced under the fairy lights, their laughter echoing through the barn Emma had fought for. Claire slipped away early, her usual bravado nowhere to be found. Daniel pulled Emma close, his voice soft. "You did this, Em. All of it." She smiled, her heart full. The barn wasn't just a place, it was a testament to her resilience, her love, her belief that beauty lies in what you build, not what you buy. In the end, Emma's wedding wasn't about silencing Claire or winning a feud. It was about standing tall in her truth, surrounded by those who saw her for who she was. The barn, with its creaking beams and wildflower crown, stood as a reminder. Sometimes, the things others mock are the ones that hold the most heart. And sometimes, the quiet dreamers are the ones who change the world, one stubborn, beautiful step at a time.